And I think we need to remember why those members of Congress were there. They were there to exercise their power of oversight. I'm eager to hear from her next guest. Let's bring her in, Democratic Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman of New Jersey. She's currently outside of that ICE detention facility.
Congresswoman, you are still on the scene. Can you just tell us what you know now at this point? What has transpired since Mayor Baraka has been arrested? And while you're talking, we might also throw on the screen the video, the B-roll of the moment where you all surrounded the mayor, so our viewers can see it.
Thanks, Sloan. Thank you for having us, and most assuredly, thank you for making this information available to millions of people in our country, because you're absolutely right. Our rights are being taken away. And if they can do what they did to Mayor Baraka, and if they do what they did to the three of us, LaMonica, Rob, and me, then they can do it to anybody. And they are doing it to anybody and everybody. First of all, we're at a different site right now. This is not the site of the detention facility where we were trying to conduct an oversight interview and look at the facility. It's something that Rob and LaMonica and I had been doing. It's an ICE detention facility. We wanted to make sure everyone was comfortable, the place was clean, and individuals had access to phones and their attorneys. It basically was a clean facility. They don't have all the access that they are entitled to, but they're kind of gearing up. We waited for over an hour to be addressed by ICE, even though we had the authority to be there, even though we only wanted to make a tour. While we were in the waiting area, all of the ICE officials from the state of New Jersey at the highest levels came to the detention facility, and we thought it was to resolve our issue of taking the tour. So they came, they said hello, and the next thing we saw, they ran outside. We went outside, and we saw that the mayor was there. And the mayor was talking to them, to some of the ICE employees. He was invited inside of the gate to have the conversation. When we all got down there to the end, they told him that he had to go back into the public area where the protesters were, and he willingly, quietly, and respectfully did as they asked. While he was there, we were walking back to the holding facility, thinking that we were going to have our interview and do our tour. But we noticed that ICE and officials were huddling and having a discussion. So we decided that we were going to kind of wait and see what was going on. They were talking to people on the phone. Now, mind you, all of the ICE leadership in the state of New Jersey was at that facility, but they were on the phone with someone. And we finally heard, okay, we're going to arrest the mayor. To which we said, why are you arresting the mayor? The mayor is not on your property. The mayor is out there with the protesters. They ignored us. They went out there. They tried to grab him. LaMonica, Rob, and I tried to hold on to the mayor to protect him. And we kept asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? So they actually, quite frankly, started roughing us all up. They took the mayor finally. The mayor went. They arrested him. They cuffed him. It was disgusting to watch. And they brought him to this facility where we are now, which is their, I think, administration facility. We have been outside here now since they brought him here, trying to get a hearing for him or trying to get him released. And people have been coming and coming and coming. This place is flooded with protests and with media right now, because everyone is, first of all, we're scared. We're scared that nobody is safe in this country anymore. We're scared that Donald Trump has weaponized law enforcement, and law enforcement has no respect for any of us, irrespective of our positions. And we're scared for everyday folks just minding their business, going to school, working and walking. And so we decide that we're going to be here until we find out how the mayor is going to get released. I've just been informed that he is going to be released. We will be here until we physically see that happening. But this is un-American. This breaks my heart that in the United States of America, as imperfect as it has been, there's never been this disrespect for individual rights, for positions, or for just justice in general.
Congresswoman, it's so disheartening and yet compelling to hear you describe the events surrounding the arrest of the mayor. I want to call your attention to something that's very important and you know very well, and you've alluded to this throughout your comments there, that the rules of engagement that are laid out specifically, and everyone go see them at, ice.gov, right? Regarding those facilities says, quote, nothing in this section may be construed to require a member of Congress to provide prior notice of the intent to enter a facility described in subsection A for the purpose of conducting oversight, for the purpose of doing your job as a member of Congress. You are not precluded nor prohibited. The fact that this administration yet again flouts the law, throws it up in the face of the American people and the very members who swore the same oath of office that they swore to uphold that law, tells you what? What does that tell you when you get back to Congress and you're on the floor next week? What does it tell you you need to make your fellow members aware of regarding the actions of this administration?
Well, I just have to remind them just how corrupt this administration is as it relates to the rule of law and almost everything else, Michael. But I also need to talk to them about the difficulty that we had in gaining access to the facilities, the three of us who are members of Congress, because you cited the law. We cited the law. We've had conversations with ICE before in visiting their facilities. So we don't understand why they were so hyper determined to be so uncooperative this time. But there was a sort of an environment that was very unsettling. They were not respectful. ICE was not respectful at all. They barely responded to any question that we asked. And they never apologized when we were on the tour for having roughed us up, disrespected the mayor, taken him off. And this is not our country. This is not what we live for, fight for, stand for. Michael, this is such an abuse that we are experiencing at the highest levels, that they're giving people permission to take other people's rights simply because they don't like us. And so if members of Congress aren't even safe in this environment, we had pins, we had identification, they knew who we were, then what are we expecting other people to think and feel? So I'll go back to Congress. And I'm going to talk about the fact of our experience, although we're communicating with them now about that. I also want to talk about it shouldn't be that difficult when members of Congress show up to a detention facility to bring them in and let them do the tour that they're legally entitled to do. There's too much checking and double checking and pushing aside, and it was just too much confusion, unnecessary chaos. I know this is a chaotic administration. I know it's an intentionally cruel administration. I see it. I physically and personally experienced it today. And to take the mayor of the largest city in the state of New Jersey and put him in handcuffs and then take him away. And his mother, God bless her soul, in addition to his wife, his mother is here. And she has been here since they brought him here. This is not America. This is the sick man's idea of what he thinks he can do to any one of us or all of us that he doesn't like.
Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman, real quickly, just before I let you go, I want to clarify a point that you made earlier in the interview. Did you say that ICE invited the mayor to this facility?
He was invited inside of the gate. So there's a great big like parking area. So he was invited inside of the gate because they wanted to talk to him about what he wanted and why he was there. So when we got to him, he was still inside of the gate. But then ICE came and said, "You're trespassing. You have to leave here. You've got to get out of this area." The mayor walked away, went behind the fence, and was out there with other protesters. He was not on their properties. But they decided, for some performative reasons, some evil reasons, to go and handcuff him, humiliate him, and take him away.